Targeting is one of the most important aspects of your overall social media advertising strategy. Essentially, targeting is delivering a specific piece of content to the people or users most likely to complete a specific and intended action. Just like the actual ad itself, targeting can mean the difference between a great advertising campaign and a not so great one. Bad targeting can lead to higher costs and lower engagement, whereas good targeting can lead to lower cost per click and higher intended actions for whatever goal you're trying to achieve. So how do you actually figure out who you're supposed to be targeting to begin with? The most traditional way is by developing what we in the marketing industry, and you probably have heard of these before, developing personas. I like to think of personas as your target audience, who they are, what they're interested in, where they live, what job they do, what their demographic is. These personas can be crucial in understanding who to target when you're specifically setting up your overall campaigns, ad sets, and actual ads. Another way to think about personas, and this is the way I like to think about it, is thinking about it in terms of jobs to be done. So what job is someone trying to complete by clicking on a potential ad from your brand or business? In other words, personas might get at the overall person you're trying to reach, 20-year-old female living in a city interested in soccer. Whereas jobs to be done solves a specific pain point for that exact person. So the person living in the city, 20 years old, interested in soccer, might be looking for a specific soccer ball that she can take to the beach. The jobs to be done framework helps to specify specific ad content to help increase click-through rates and lower costs for your overall advertisements. So what I suggest you do is think about both the persona you're trying to reach and the jobs that they're trying to accomplish. That will give you two separate persona strategies that you can then use to create highly targeted ads to reach potential customers. The top, most broad way to target people with social media advertising are through things like interests, behaviors, age, location. These are really great ways to really cast a wide net among a very large audience. On platforms like LinkedIn, if you're a B2B company, you'll be able to target people based on their job titles, which is an incredible asset to be able to say, all social media managers in the United States should be shown this content, or all social media managers located in Louisville, Kentucky should be shown this content. So this very top of the funnel, very brand awareness focused targeting is perfect for those looking to cast a wide net. Now, moving down the old targeting funnel, let's talk about ways that you can get a bit more specific with the ways you target people on social media. Going back to the importance of installing a pixel or tag on your website, this is where the real fun begins with targeting. Did you know that you can target people based on visits to your website? You can also target people based on visits to a specific web page, or people who viewed a video for a specific amount of time. These pixels allow you to get very granular on the audiences that you create and the people that you target. With this, I think it's important to take a step back here and talk for a second about creating custom audiences. I'd love to show you an example within the Facebook Ads Manager that helps to give an idea of the possibilities of creating audiences. Now, this is available in many other social media networks, but I think Facebook does a great job of clearly listing out how this could look for your own brand or business. So here we are in the audience creation section of Facebook Ads Manager. And you can see we have several different audiences set up based on different parameters that we have put into the product. So here you can see we're targeting all people who have visited the Reply blog or Academy within the last 60 days. Here we're targeting all Buffer blog traffic within the last 60 days. And here we're targeting all Buffer blog traffic, excluding traffic to buffer.com, which are separate web assets, in the last 90 days. So targeting people based on traffic is one really great way to begin to start to narrow down your audiences, and a great way to target people who are already familiar with your brand. The other targeting feature that I love to do is based on email lists. So as you can see here in Facebook, we've actually set up a custom audience based on our business customers from March of 2017. What we did is we simply uploaded a list of our B4B, or Buffer for Business subscribers within the last 60 days and created a custom audience based on that. When you're thinking about setting up audiences, custom audiences are perfect for middle of the funnel and bottom of the funnel content. So what you can do is create a little game where you start to build out top of the funnel brand awareness ads, driving traffic to your website, and then creating custom audiences based on that traffic. What that does is create a beautiful social media advertising loop that you can go back to again and again. Getting a bit more granular with targeting, there are ways besides interests and demographics to target a specific group of users based on similarities between your companies and others. This is based on competitor or peer targeting. And this is one of my favorite ways if you're just starting out and you don't necessarily have pixels or custom audiences set up yet. When you begin to think about this sort of targeting, competitor and peer targeting, it's important to realize that everybody in your industry is competing for the same attention from users. Understanding that when you target a competitor's audience or you target a peer's audience, your ad needs to be better than theirs because they're also bidding on that same user. Targeting competitors or influencers within your industry will help align your ad message with people that are most likely to purchase your product in the future. Another one of my favorite ways to target customers on social media is through look-alike audiences. Look-alike audiences are users on a particular social media platform that show similarities to the people who already like your page. Facebook, with a sophisticated algorithm, is giving you an easy-to-use way to create a particular persona based on people who already engage and like your page on social media. So just a quick recap. You have two ways to reach people with social media advertising. You have your standard targeting and you have retargeting. Targeting means that people might not have been familiar with your brand in the past and are just seeing your content for the first time. Whereas retargeting, these people have interacted with some sort of content from you in the past and you're simply sending them more content that's the same or maybe moving them down the funnel. To really drive home this point, I'd love to give you a few examples now of how different types of companies might use retargeting and targeting in different portions of the funnel. Okay, so let's say you're a SaaS company and you set up a lookalike audience within Facebook. You might take a blog post that's popular from your blog and target that lookalike audience and make your conversion goal clicks. A week goes by and you've driven more than 1,000 clicks to your website from this particular ad. What you can then do is target all the people who clicked on the ad and all the traffic to that specific piece of content and retarget them with a piece of content that's a bit deeper in the funnel, whether that's an ebook, a webinar, or a particular offer for a discount on your product or a free trial. Or let's move back up to the top of the funnel with people who might not have heard about your brand in the past. What you can do is create a great engaging video, whether it's funny, humorous, educational, or useful, and target competitors of your business. Then, once you've racked up views to that video based on competitors' followers, you can then retarget them with an ad that's more particularly about your company, whether that be a webinar, an ebook, and I know we've talked about this a lot, but essentially you're building brand awareness with that ad based on competitors' followers, and then you're moving them down the funnel with things that are more related to your brand that might provide additional education or usefulness. When you're first getting started with advertising, a majority of your time is going to be spent on targeting and figuring out which audiences you're trying to reach. Now, one thing to keep in mind when you're creating audiences is that if you don't create a variety of audiences, similar people are going to start seeing your ads over and over again. And what we like to call that is audience fatigue. In order to avoid audience fatigue, what you're going to want to do is set up multiple audiences for multiple goals that you have in social media ads. So in other words, what you don't want to do is set one audience and then advertise to them with multiple ad sets. That might mean you have different lookalike audiences or different retargeted audiences from your website. The beauty of all this is that a lot of the skills that you'll learn in Facebook advertising, you can apply to other social media networks because they work essentially the same. The layout and the way that you create ads will be different on each individual network, but the theory of retargeting audiences, creating top of the funnel brand content are all the same across all networks. And that's what's so great about social media advertising is once you learn the skills in one platform, you can apply them to all other platforms. In the last video, I had you write down some goals that you'd like to accomplish with social media advertising. Now I'd like you to think about personas and creating a custom audience based on the goal you set in the last video. So if you're aiming high and you're looking to create a brand awareness campaign, you're going to want to set a large audience based on things like interest, demographic, age, location. But if you want to aim low and start with bottom of the funnel, it's very important you create a custom audience based on things like retargeting or competitors' audiences. So start with that, create a custom audience, and we'll use that in the next videos when we start to create actual ads.